Okay, now we've studied color theory, we've understood what a mandala is, and you have created half of a triangle for your mandala. So now what we need to do is actually start working in Illustrator. We're going to go ahead, I'm going to do this in a two-part video series. This is part one. I'm going to teach you how to set up the mandala without color and without design, and then part two we'll go over how to finish off your mandala. We need to create a new file, and we're going to go with last name, first name, mandala. And we're going to do 8.5 by 11 inches. Keep everything else the same. And I just realized I messed up my artboard. It happens. So I'm going to go ahead and edit my artboard, and I'm going to change it to 11 by 8.5 and hit escape. And if I had accidentally made it in pixels or points, I could change it here too, but I made it in inches. We're going to go ahead with a ruler, so Command R. Move my toolbar. And I want to find the center to my artboard, so I'm going to go ahead with my artboard and do 5.5 and then 4.25 going down. I'm going to give you an exact measurement of your polygon. It's going to be 3.937 with 12 sides. I'm going to turn my fill off and place this directly in the center. I want to go ahead and label this design before I continue, and then I'm going to take my line tool and I'm going to go from the center or the corner to the center. Now, personally, I would love to be able to use my rotation tool at this point, but for some reason with the technique that I'm about to show you, I have not been able to have it consistently work that way. So I'm going to go ahead and just create lines myself, but ideally it would be good to be able to use a rotation tool like you did with your spider, because it would save you a couple minutes. Okay. I'm also going to go ahead and decrease the stroke size to this because it's a little bit thick and I don't want it to take away from my design. You can always change it later if you want to. Now this is a polygon, and then this is a set of lines. We want to make these actual triangles. So we're going to use the same exact technique that you used with your color wheel. So we're going to select this. We're going to divide with the Pathfinder. Again, this is exactly what we did with your color wheels. I'm going to double click out here, or click until it's not selected anymore. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on it and ungroup. And hopefully you should end up with, yes, individual triangles. Perfect. Okay, now this seems really silly, but I am actually going to take these away. They were serving as measurements for my triangles. Now that I know that I have a perfect triangle, we are now going to turn this into a symbol. So I'm going to go to my symbols panel, and I'm going to take my triangle and I'm actually going to drop it into the symbols panel. I can go ahead and just call it triangle. We want to move it to a graphic and then click OK. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and open up our file that we saved from our sketch. So you were supposed to take the sketch and download it onto your desktop, and I'll do it again just to remind you. Open it up in preview, and I scanned it horizontally or vertically, so we're going to go ahead and rotate that. Drag a selection tool across your design, and then hit Command K to crop, and it will cut it down to a smaller size. You will save this. I'm not going to because I already have one, but you would hit save. So now you can come in here and do File, Place. Before we do this though, let's go back to our layers and let's make a new layer and drop that layer below Design and call that Sketch. Now we can do File, Place, find the sketch, and place it onto the artboard. I'm going to go ahead and line it up. I'm using my arrow key to get it more precise. And now it's actually sitting on top of my triangle that I made. I can go ahead and lock that sketch, and that way I'm just dealing with my symbol. I'm going to go ahead with my rotation tool this time, and I'm actually going to select my triangle, hold my Option key, click once, and we're going to go ahead and rotate at 30 degrees. So I'm going to hit Copy and Command D. Now this looks like something I did before, but the thing is now these are actually symbols. They're not just regular shapes. They are all connected symbols, which means that whatever I do to one is going to affect all of them, so that I don't have to redraw and recolor my design each time 12 different ways or 12 different times. This is the beginning to the mandala project. I'm going to go ahead and start with a new video for part 2. I'm going to show you how to trace and how to color and then how to eventually place your patterns inside of the circle.